STL TV Live. I'm Sarah Bernard, and still with me in the studio are Desiree and Faith, and we were talking about the Women's Leadership Society. They're presenting an educational panel titled Saving Our Boys. So Desiree from the United Way and Faith representing the Scholarship Foundation of St. Louis, and 2 weeks from today is this event that is open to everyone.
Including men.
Including men, even though it's Women's Leadership Society.
It's an issue that affects our entire community. So we would encourage everyone from educators to concerned citizens, parents, whoever feels like this may be relevant to come on out and join the discussion.
And you're going to be talking about men and from their little wee starts as little boys. Okay, so tell us what to expect. Is this an all-day forum or?
No, it's a morning forum. So what will happen is it's, like you said, the 24th. It starts at 7:30, so that gives us about 30 minutes of networking till 8 a.m. And then from 8 to 9, we'll have the actual discussion. And we have 5 really awesome folks who are experts in this field and are going to help us sort of delve into this, answer some really good questions.
Okay, so 1 hour, that hardly seems like enough time to dive into this very important subject.
So we've planned it carefully. It's a power-packed hour.
Okay.
There will be 10 minutes or so of graphic slides that if you walk in the room not certain this is a problem, you're going to walk out of the room convinced that it is. And these are based on U.S. Census data, what's happening to our boys, and then a panel that will be able to help us process, okay, now what?
Okay, so who are some of the panelists who will be there that day?
So we have Dr. Stanton Lawrence, who is, actually this is Alan Berg. He's with UMSL. He's the Dean of Enrollment Services, so he'll be able to help us through the higher education and look at some of those issues.
Okay.
This is Chris Volker, and she's actually the Center Director at Child Garden, so we'll be looking at early education and delving into some issues there. This is Stephanie Cross. She's our moderator, and she is really an expert in at-risk youth. She's the CEO of Shearwater Foundation and is going to help sort of facilitate the conversation and also interject issues that might be relevant to at-risk youth. And this is Mary Cognata. She is with the Miriam School, so she's going to look at youth with disabilities and issues that they may face. And Dr. Lawrence, I don't think is mentioned, but he's the superintendent of Normandy School District, so he'll be joining us to talk about the K-12 pipeline and some of the issues that boys may face there.
What a great group of panelists.
Yeah.
So in 1 hour, you were saying.
Well, what I was going to say is the fascinating thing is every one of those individuals, all of whom you can understand are busy and have multiple demands, immediately said yes to us when we invited them because of the importance of the issue and their interest in speaking about it and getting the community involved in a dialogue.
And I also understand that last week in the New York Times there was an article about this very subject. Is that right? Yeah.
So it was the David Brooks column in which he basically said that his theory is that one of the things that has contributed to this phenomenon is the culture in our schools, which is better suited to our girls than our boys, to the biology and the behavior that is more common to girls than to boys. So sitting still for long periods of time, like we are. Performing or responding to the teacher, being able to interact verbally and less so physically, all of those things create a climate in which the rambunctious boy who wants to interact with the world and learns by getting dirty, not that girls don't, so these are broad generalizations, but that those boys are getting lost in the educational process.
So is there going to be a recommendation for gender-specific schools?
Well, we've actually kind of talked about that and looked at, some of the data around that. And I think that we're not necessarily coming out with policy recommendations, but really sort of action items that an individual can take to say, hey, here's something, that you might recommend to a teacher, or hey, if you have a youth with disabilities, here's some strategies that you can use to make sure the youth are successful. So.
Yeah. And I think just building awareness too, because there's been a lot of focus on girls in the classroom. So having a little bit of a change here and bringing awareness to the boys. So once again on our screen, the educational panel, Saving Our Boys, Producing Success in the Educational Pipeline, July 24th, 7:30 to 9. At the United Way of Greater St. Louis, which is on North 11th Street downtown. And for more information, you may call 314-539-4191, or you may email Desiree for more information as well. So watch for those emails coming your way. And thank you so much, both of you, for coming on this very interesting topic. It'll be great to hear more at the panel and hear some of the recommendations. So thank you both, Desiree and Faith, for joining us today. Unfortunately, it's time to take another break, but when we return, we'll be talking to Will Eisman from the Phantom Gallery and Bookstore. Remember to keep up with STL TV and all the great events going on around St. Louis. Friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can always watch us streaming live on stltv.net. Stay tuned to STL TV.